Hey everybody, happy Sunday. I am excited to be here. I am just coming on today to celebrate really and thank you guys, all of you, all of the new subscribers that have come to the channel in the last month or so, and tell you guys what you can expect for future Alice's Adventures episodes, where I'm planning on going next, and answer any questions that you guys might have. Hey, Rogue Warfare, thanks for joining. And I hope you guys will join me in having a glass of wine tonight, or your favorite cocktail or beverage, because tonight's just all about celebrating. So let's all, join in happy spirits. And if you've got something exciting to share, please let me know in the chat also. I'd love to celebrate all of you that are here on YouTube that have been supporting me. For those of you that are new here, I've been on YouTube for almost 8 years now. It's been a really long time. And I am just so thankful to finally be seeing, some growth in the channel and getting my videos out to more people. For those of you that have been here a while, my Colorado video on hiking Long's Peak that I did this summer just started trending kind of out of nowhere a couple weeks ago. And so there's a lot of new people on the channel right now. And so welcome to all of you. And I'm really excited to bring you guys some really cool new content in the next year. And hey, Krieger versus Big Brother and Mark. Yeah, don't worry if you're underdressed for this party. It's totally fine. I am still wearing the clothes I went hiking in today. I did put on a shirt that didn't smell. But no need to dress up, guys. Wear whatever you want. That's the best thing about a virtual party. But I'm so excited to see you guys. Mark, I know, I think you're a new subscriber, so thank you, for subscribing and joining the community. And Krieger versus Big Brother, you've been here forever, I feel like, and I always really love your support on Instagram and YouTube and, on all my social channels. So, and for those of you that are new also, I tell all of you guys this on my other channels too, is just, feel free to DM me if you've got a hike or a trail that you love that you want me to check out, or just, chit chat about hiking and things like that. Send me a DM. I'm always totally happy to talk to you guys about that. And hey, Rich, thanks for joining too. More backpacking trips. Yes, it's so fun to be out in the backcountry. I definitely want to do more backcountry, more backpacking, and more overnight stuff. Actually did a little section of the Appalachian Trail today just as a day hike, but I definitely want to do more overnights. And I was actually talking to my boyfriend this morning about just kind of getting some extra safety stuff for, being out in the backcountry. Because I don't have, pepper spray or, as some people have suggested on my latest YouTube videos, a gun to protect myself. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that kind of stuff, or what you guys have, like Rich, what you take with you when you're out, camping solo or things like that. So definitely there's going to be more backpacking trips coming up in the next year. And I'm definitely going to be doing at some point this winter, a winter backpacking trip also in the snow. So that should be fun. I'm excited for that. And thanks. Yeah, the Long Peaks video. I'm glad you thought it was interesting and that you enjoyed it. I loved that hike. My friend was originally supposed to go with me and she could not go. So that's why I went alone. And as you guys know, I solo hike pretty much everywhere. So it wasn't really a big deal for me. Bummer about my phone, but all in all, that was a really great trip, and it was a challenge for me. I'm not usually afraid of heights, but I think, up on Longs, your thoughts change a bit on what you're afraid of. Yeah, you carry a fixed blade and a machete. Okay, well, you know what? I actually have a machete in my car, and I should probably carry it with me when I go hiking. Yeah, I do know how to fight, so that is good. I do have safety there. I was even just thinking today, I went out on the AT and, there are bears. Not that I am afraid of bears, because black bears are pretty mild, but, and I feel like pretty skittish of people because I did grow up with lots of black bears. But I was just thinking, gosh, I don't even have like pepper spray or anything like that. So I should probably get just something, especially with, just the climate of today and how strange things have gotten in this country. Young Master, sorry, thank you for joining in the live chat, and thank you for joining in the video and subscribing and being here on YouTube. Appreciate you. But yeah, I mean, definitely more backpacking trips I'm going to do. So if you guys have other recommendations of like wilderness areas, I mean, if you guys have watched my content, which I know you guys have, you know that I love to like be off the beaten path. I don't necessarily want to go to a campground. I like to go to places that are, as Rich said, more out in the backcountry. So, which is why I really liked that place that I went to in Utah, the Red Cliffs, because it was really desolate. There was nobody else around. And those are kind of like where I thrive, where I don't have to talk to anyone and I can just like be there in the wilderness. And even on Long's Peak, there was one other tent up there that night. So that was really nice to just have the place to myself. And I really love places like that, to just go and find these kind of tucked away places. And I think there's something in that like solitude that actually makes me feel safer also. Yeah, David Reed, thank you. Pepper spray is lightweight and it works super well as protection. Yeah, it does. That's why I think I need to get some. I have bear spray, but like for those of you that have bear spray, the thing is like this big. I think it's pretty big. So it's not like the easiest thing to just take everywhere. And it's also not legal in a lot of places, in a lot of national parks anyway. So I think a little can of pepper spray would be good. Luckily I'm in Georgia, so I should be able to buy that pretty much I think at any like knife or ammo store. So that's gonna be one of my next like little safety purchases that I make for the next year of travel. And if you guys have other suggestions, I know a while back one of you guys suggested like a tactical pen, which I had, but the thing broke, so I need to get a new one of those. Yeah, and bears are cool. I actually was really hoping that I would see a bear today on the trail. It's really late in the season for bears, but no bears, just a lot of squirrels and chipmunks. So, but I'm definitely was like trying to channel my inner bear spirit for the trail in hopes of seeing a bear on the trail. Shout out to, I'll have to look up his name. I think his name is Charlie, but he actually suggested on my Facebook page a couple weeks ago a book called Sun is a Compass. And for those of you guys that are maybe looking for a book or even an audio book, because I listened to it on audio, it was really amazing. It's basically about a couple that hikes 4,000 miles from Bellingham, Washington through the Yukon across Alaska, and they see so many bears. And it was a really great story, not only just the story itself, but in their interactions with bears and just how scared of humans bears really are, and how unlikely they are to actually attack a person. I don't know if you guys heard, but 2 months ago or 3 months ago in September, they actually found a black bear scavenging on a dead guy up in Smoky Mountain National Park. So I'm not sure what happened with that. I was actually trying to find some more details on that story today and kind of hit a dead end, but I suspect that the guy probably, died of a drug overdose or something like that, and then was fed to the bear by, nature. So hopefully not. But yeah, bears are awesome. I love bears. And one of my trips next summer, fingers crossed anyways, is going to be to Alaska. And I really hope to be able to go there and see a lot of bears and see a lot of wildlife and bring you guys some really cool content from Alaska. I've got a lot of ideas, and been talking with some people up there too about making some really cool videos. So I'm really looking forward to that. Ravencliff Falls near Georgia AT is right up my alley. Climb a 50-foot clip of tree roots. Okay, awesome, Rich. Okay, I am going to write that. So one of the ways that I keep track of my hikes is I actually have this note in my phone that I have listed like all the hikes that I want to do. So it's like down, it's listed by state. So I'm going to add that right now to my Georgia one here before I forget. Let's see, Ravencliff Falls. Awesome. Thank you for suggesting that. Yeah, say no to bear. Say no to drugs are going to be eaten by a bear. I think we could make some new t-shirts that said that. I know that they kind of stopped doing dare, so maybe we need to bring it back with that. I love that. And Sheepdog Preparedness, thank you for subscribing. I'm glad you've been checking out some of my videos, and yeah, I'm really excited for the next year. This year has been so weird. I mean, obviously we're all in the same boat, you know, with the weirdness of the country this year. I mean, but the one thing that's been kind of a silver lining is that it's given me this opportunity to hike a lot more, because normally I'd be traveling more, and because I haven't been able to do that, I've just been hiking more, which has been awesome, and I've been able to hike a lot more of the places that I've been wanting to hike. So it's been a really nice kind of change from the normal. So I've really enjoyed that, and I've got like behind the screen, behind my camera, I actually have a big whiteboard that lists kind of some of my dream trips for next year that are in the works, kind of like pencil and paper. Yeah, if I go to Alaska in fall, I'm guaranteed to view grizzlies from the school bus, maybe an hour or more of viewing bears and cubs in Denali National Park. Yeah, so when I go to Alaska, one of the things that I want to do is actually hike Denali, which is the tallest mountain in the United States, one of the 7 summits. It's 20,000 something, 21,000 feet, I think. So that's one thing. And then I definitely just want to get out and get with the indigenous cultures there as well. Go herd caribou and, you know, see the northern lights, and which I can't do in summer, I know that, but see the midnight sun in Alaska, do some of the stuff that I did in Norway, but, you know, in the US. So fish for salmon maybe, and definitely see bears. So I'm really, really excited about that. Yeah, and Krieger versus Big Brother, you bring up a good point. Yeah, 2020 has definitely been the year of disagreements. And hopefully 2021 will be the year we can all come back together and, you know, find unification, even if it's on a mountain or, you know, doing something creative or, you know, unfortunately, and I don't want to talk about politics in this video because that's not what it's about, but, you know, it would be nice to, you know, instead of being divisive, to be unified. So I'm looking forward to everyone just getting along a little bit more and not being so polarized. But yeah, thank you, David, for correcting me on that. Yeah, 22,000 feet is how tall Denali is. And it's a really technical mountain. You know, a couple years ago I did Kilimanjaro, which is basically 19,500 feet. And that was really difficult, but it's not really a technical climb. It's more of a hike. So Denali, there's ravines, there's, you know, climbing with ice axes and crampons, and it's winter camping. So I'll be wearing all of my, you know, snow pants, a couple pairs probably on top of each other to stay warm. But those are some of my plans for Alaska. And also on my list for next year is, so for those of you that don't know, maybe that are new here or just tuning in, I work as a stunt woman. That's my day job. And when I'm currently working on a movie in Atlanta, which ends around the end of March. So when that happens, I plan to go home for a little bit, then go to Utah, do all the Utah national parks. I've done a good portion of them, but haven't done individual videos on each of them. So I definitely want to take some time to do that. Exploring bucket list just asked if I hike solo, if I, solo traveler or solo hike. Yeah, so I do both. I hike solo pretty much 95% of the time. There was a couple hikes this summer in Colorado that I hiked with a friend, which was great. But yeah, because I am not home very often. I don't have a lot of availability of friends, I think, you know, in places that I'm going, and I tend to not want to wait around for people either. You know, this morning I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and left as soon as I had coffee in my to-go cup to go drive to hike. So there's not a lot of people that are available to do that with you, which is why I hike solo. And I solo travel also, and I just love to travel solo. I started doing it maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago now, I guess. And I just love it because you can go and do whatever you want. And for me, making videos, it is really difficult to do that with a friend. I've tried to, you know, if I go on a trip with a friend, I usually won't make a video because I feel like it's a little bit rude of me to take away from the experience that we have together by doing a video. So I usually try to keep those pretty separate. And if I'm out making a video, I'm traveling solo. I really enjoyed all of you guys that chimed in on Instagram, and also, you know, in some of my videos where I've talked about hiking solo. And I love all of you guys that hike solo too. I think there's so much joy that I find in hiking solo, and I work really long hours at work, and you know, by the end of the week I'm really tired. Work 11 or 12 hours a day, leave the house at 6 a.m., get home at, you know, 7 p.m. And there's not a lot of time in there to, especially now that it's winter, to even work out or do anything. So hiking for me is a nice way to just disconnect from the chaos that is work and, you know, listen to myself, listen to the birds. I just love it. And sometimes it's nice to just have a little bit of silence as well. Yes, Krieger versus Big Brother. When I'm down in Florida, I will definitely hit you up. I'd love to come on a little expedition with you, or you with me, either way, and explore some of the hiking down in Florida and the marshlands and the swamplands. Maybe we'll catch an alligator. And you know, and thank you guys for sharing all of the reasons why you hike solo. I actually posted about it on my Instagram, I think, what's today, Sunday, on Friday. And a lot of you guys responded with why you hike solo, and I loved all the reasons. Yeah, 8Man says, you know, you're retired and don't want to wait for friends. I mean, that's exactly one of my reasons too. I tried for years to meet up with girlfriends to go hiking, and you know, most of the time they either don't want to get up and get out of the house until like 9 or 10 in the morning. And that just doesn't work for me, because then the trail is super crowded. There's nowhere to park. And you just don't, you know, I don't want to be like bumping people on the trail to like see anything. So I just haven't found the right adventure friend, I guess, in the places that I usually am for work. And because I'm such busy, like here and there everywhere when I'm working. So it's just difficult. So I'd rather just not have to wait around, and I go by myself, and I love it. And I love all the things that you guys are sharing. Yeah, you can go wherever you want. You can do whatever. Exactly. You can stop at every log and take a photo if you want, or, you know, stop after half an hour and have a sandwich instead of at the top. I mean, it's great. Nick just suggested for winter camping, check out the Revelation winter quilt. I just got mine and it's awesome. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I went out today. It was about 27 degrees. I obviously didn't camp. I just hiked, but it was pretty cold. Usually I wear like 2 pairs of pants, and I only wore one today, and I was regretting it for like the first hour, and then I warmed up. But yeah, any suggestions you guys have on gear too is awesome. And I told some of you guys already, I'm actually going to be putting out a winter hiking gear guide on YouTube probably in a few weeks. I have a couple videos before that, so that's in the lineup though of things that are coming out. And then also I'm going to be doing a winter camping trip. Just have to pick the location for that, probably in the Smoky Mountains, however. And I'm just reading your guys' comments over here. I'm so like thankful that you guys are so chitty chatty today. I really appreciate it. Rich, that's hilarious. Hiked solo once in Utah and got stuck, had to cut your arm off with a pocket knife. Were you in that movie? Yeah, Dave, you've hiked solo in Northern California. Yeah, I've done the meetup groups too. You know, that's a good way to, I think, meet other hikers. I do that every now and then also. In California, they're nationwide now, but there's a group called Women Who Hike and Girls Who Hike. Sometimes I go out with them and do like a little trail, but they're usually pretty mild. They're not the kind of hikes that I usually do, I guess. But it is nice to, you know, go out with people that you don't know and share your interests and meet new people. So that's a fun way, I think, to meet new people as well. So, and if any of you guys are looking for groups like that, I know there's like meetup.com where they have like all kinds of different hiking groups that you can find for every kind of age group and singles, not singles, couples, that kind of thing. So if you're looking for a group like that, you can check that stuff out too. Thanks for following me on Instagram, Exploring Bucket List. I will follow you back if I'm not already. And you guys are cracking me up in the chat. Yeah, don't cut off anyone's arms, guys. Come on. This is why you should always carry Vaseline in your hiking backpack as one of your your survival items, or a stick of butter, maybe. Yeah, pocket knife is nice, better than being unarmed. You guys are hilarious today. I love it. Tim, thank you for checking out my channel and being here tonight. Happy to have you. And we're just kind of goofing around in here celebrating 8,000 subscribers, which I'm so excited for. And my goal was to get 10,000 before the end of the year. I don't know, but I think we can do it. I think we can get there. There's 3 weeks left till the end of the month, and I think we're going to make it. I think it's going to be a 10,000 subscriber a year. So that's my goal for the end of the year. I'm really excited for it. And maybe I'm going to celebrate with like some sticks of butter. I'm going to do a video about, you know, butter and knives. And I'm losing my mind now, guys. Which I show you really got this chat off to a weird place, but I really enjoy it. Are you guys enjoying a cocktail with me? I hope you are. But let's talk about some of the more places I'm gonna go next year. The butter could also be in case you get hungry. It is high in fat, so that could be good if you're burning a lot of calories out in the wilderness. Hey, Nevada hiker, I am so glad that you're here in the live stream. I've been kind of like changing up the times. So also, if you're watching this, you know, if you're in the live chat now or you're watching this at a later date, please let me know what time works best. I mean, obviously today I was actually planning to do this at like 8 a.m., but I went out on a hike and then wasn't home until 2 Eastern. And then YouTube is just like, it doesn't know what time zone I'm in. So I'll schedule it for my time zone, and then it thinks I'm actually in like Hawaii or something. So then I go to YouTube and I'm like, oh, let me double check the time for my live stream, and it'll be like a totally different time. So I just went with it today, and so this was the time we chose. So if this works for you guys, let me know. And if it doesn't, if there's other times, you know, or weekdays that work better for that, let me know too. And then next year, I'm actually going to be doing live streams either on Mondays or Tuesdays because my work week schedule is changing. Right now we do have the weekends off, and next year we will not. A Capri Sun. Oh, I don't think I've had a Capri Sun I don't even remember when the last time I had a Capri Sun, but that's a good drink. You could maybe like add some bourbon in there. A frappe mocha. That sounds delicious. And yeah, that's right, Larry. Mountain women eat butter straight. We don't need any bread. Exploring bucket list. So you brought bear spray from Montana to New York. Well, I actually bought bear spray in Colorado, and I think I need to look for it, but I think I have it here in Georgia with me. I'm actually not super sure, but I'm a little unorganized about my outdoor gear after kind of like moving back and forth everywhere. So, guys, we are really getting on the butter train here. We need to come out with like a mountain butter product. So we've come up with a few products for those of you that are just joining. We've come up with a new t-shirt for staying off drugs, which is going to be don't do drugs or you'll get eaten by a bear. And then we've come out with mountain butter. So I'm loving it. We've got other ideas here in the chat. Butter with a jar of peanut butter, thousands of calories, delicious and great for arm extractions. Perfect. Mark, you bring up a good point. Have I thought about exotic places like Pakistan or such? Yeah, I actually was invited to go to Pakistan last year, but then things kind of fell apart because of their difficulties and issues with India and the kind of war they've been having with India for so many years, and it just became a little bit unsafe. So that trip actually got put on hold. I would like to go there at some point. And I think you said 2K. I think you meant K2. I would love to do K2. And I'd love to just go visit Pakistan also because there's some really beautiful places there. There's a lot of beautiful places in the Middle East that unfortunately just have not gotten the kind of, media attention that maybe they should. Obviously, there's still a lot of stuff happening over there, but one day that is somewhere that I want to go. We've got a slogan for our Adventure Butter. Do you even butter? I love it. Butter bum keeps the tea bag from burning. Oh gosh, this is getting weird, guys. Butter on chips. Okay, well, that's something that I have not tried. I love butter on a variety of things as well. I haven't tried it on French fries, but that sounds pretty good. I mean, it could be like an aioli. Oh, like a garlic butter would actually be really tasty on French fries. So now that we're on this really weird, side train about butter, but some of the other places that I do want to go, Mount Roraima, and if you guys haven't heard about this, let me see if I can actually pull this up and show it to you guys on my screen. If the screen goes black, let me know, but I'm gonna try and look up Mount Roraima and show it to you guys. And let's see, let's make sure that's muted. Okay, let's see if I can figure out how to do this. All right, so this, hopefully you guys can see this. This is Mount Roraima, and let me get a better picture. So it's this like crazy tabletop plateau, and it's got like waterfalls that come down that just jut out of the mountainside. And I have been wanting to go there for so many years. So that is somewhere that's definitely on my list, but it's in Venezuela. So there's obviously a lot of issues with Venezuela, and have been for the last few years, but that's been a place that I really want to go as well. Rob Land just asked, was my channel inspired by other outdoor YouTubers or any other outdoor channel recs to share? Yeah, thanks, Rob. It wasn't really inspired by other YouTubers, but Craig Adams, yes, he's actually, I have him linked on my channel, actually. I really like his hiking videos. His are a little bit different than mine. He's more of like a silent hiker, and does a lot of drone footage as well. But yeah, he's really awesome. I would say for other hiking videos, Adventure Amateur is great. Norwegian Explorer is great if you want to see like Scandinavian videos. But yeah, no, I think, my channel has evolved a lot. It started with national parks. But obviously, like in my national park videos, I always went on hikes, and hikes were just accessible. They were something that I could do every week. And so it kind of evolved from being once in a while really big videos that like I could only do 1 or 2 of a year, to figuring out what I could do consistently, and that was hiking. And I grew up hiking. I love hiking, so it was an easy transition. But I've definitely, learned things and maybe taken elements of other people's channels as well over the years by just watching other people's content and kind of getting inspiration. I do really love Craig's videos because I love the drone footage. And I do a lot of the same thing as him, of the hiking forward and back of the, passing your tripod and then walking backwards to your tripod and picking it up. So I think our content has some similar aspects to it as far as that kind of stuff goes. And I'd love to incorporate more drone footage into my videos. Like today, my drone was just really angry with me. I was trying to fly it in a really heavily forested area, and I was trying to make it follow me, and it just was like obstacle, obstacle, obstacle. And I was like, come on, go around the tree. It's not that hard, drone, like go around. And it just didn't want to do it. So something that I'm working on is just getting better at, droning myself, because it's not the easiest thing to do. But what was your most difficult or dangerous hike in the United States? Thanks for asking, Dan. Most difficult. Honestly, Longs Peak was probably the most dangerous. Just because it is really steep. At the top there, you could easily fall off the ledges on Longs Peak with a misstep, or if you were rushing, or if you got stuck in a storm or something like that. Longs Peak is pretty dangerous. It's one of the most dangerous hikes in Colorado. So that's probably one of the most dangerous in the United States that I've done. And I'm trying to think as far as difficulty. That one is pretty difficult too. That one, the elevation, it's like 4,000 feet of elevation gain. So that was a challenge also. Next summer, I was really hoping to do Mount Whitney this summer as well, which I didn't unfortunately have the time to do. And some more of the 14ers in Colorado. As a kid, I hiked Mount Washington in New Hampshire, which I think is only like 6,000 feet tall, but that's a pretty challenging hike as well, but not like Longs Peak. So that's probably the most difficult and dangerous hike that I've did. And yeah, Rob, Craig is a cool minimalist vibe. Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to be, I think, more of a minimalist. I'm a pretty, well, I think people would disagree with that. I was going to say I'm kind of a minimalist, but then I kind of am also like a hoarder of like younger things. Like I have a lot of things that I donate, and my new place in Atlanta, I have not a lot of stuff in, and I'm actually really loving the like less is more. So I think when I go back to LA, we're going to be downsizing a bit of kind of just things we've collected over the years. I had like things from my parents, things from like my friend's mom, that like just all these hand-me-downs. It's really hard to get rid of stuff, but that's something that I definitely want to get better at also. Dave just said he wrote an adventure screenplay called The Gold Serpent, partly set among the tepuis in Venezuela. The tops of the tepuis are like 1,000 nature-made sculptures. Yes. Nature is so beautiful. But yeah, Venezuela is stunning. That part of Venezuela where Mount Roraima is just, it's unbelievable. And until about 6 years ago, you actually had to basically charter a plane and then hire a private four-wheel drive vehicle and like a team of people to help get you up to this mountain. Now there's actually tours that can take you up to Mount Roraima, but they didn't used to exist. So when I first looked at Mount Roraima, which was probably 10 years ago, getting there was still a real like expedition, a real adventure. It wouldn't be so much that anymore, but still would be just an amazing trip to see a place like that not that many people know about, not that many people go to, and in part of the world that is really still kind of challenging to travel to, especially with how much political and economic unrest is going on in Venezuela. And Speaking of other channels, it would be cool if I did a collab with 8Man and California Through My Lens. Oh yeah, California Through My Lens. Yeah, I really like him. He's great. His channel has just, I mean, I remember when his channel had like 1,000 subscribers. So he's done really phenomenal this year. I think this year has been really great for a lot of, content creators. And he was really able to like niche down with just all the California content. I love that he takes his dad on all the hikes too. So yeah, that's a really great idea about a hiker. And yeah, I'll look into that because I would really like that. And yeah, so if Long Speak was the first video that you saw, I've got, years more videos. So Long Speak was this summer, and I've, for those of you that weren't here in the beginning, I've been on YouTube now for, 8 years, I think. So lots of videos, and not all hikes. I started out doing national parks and World Heritage sites. So I've got videos on like Australia and Portugal and Norway and some other like off the beaten path places, Hawaii, Belize. So check out some of the other videos if you haven't seen all of those also. And Angel's Landing. You know what? I've actually never done Angel's Landing. I actually have a couple of friends that I know. Craig Adams actually just put out a video on Angel's Landing. I've had a couple of friends that have gone in the last couple of weeks, and they've said that it's just super overcrowded and wall-to-wall people not wearing masks. So I don't know about like right now, since it's now December, how many people are up there. Usually the winter in Zion is pretty minimal as far as people, but that is a dangerous hike because it's really narrow, obviously. And last time I was in Zion, I was actually with my boyfriend and his dad was not able to hike that, so we skipped that. But when I go back to the Utah National Parks, which is on my agenda for, kind of Q1/2 of next year, I'll definitely be doing that hike when I go back to Zion. And I'll be going to all the other parks in Utah too, Capitol Reef, Arches, back to Bryce. And I'm really excited about that. So I will have to get back to you on Angel's Landing, Dan, and let you know how dangerous that one is. But I mean, it's so popular, and national parks have been really good about implementing so many safety measures, putting in chains and guardrails and things like that. So I would imagine with how many people hike it, it's probably gotten a little bit safer. Just like, Half Dome in Yosemite, if you go in the summertime, they do have the ropes up. But if you go at other times of the year, when they don't have the ropes, it's obviously a lot more dangerous, and obviously people fall off that and die every year. And I'll just say, like, going to other countries and hiking, the amount of safety precautions the U.S. does at like national parks and even state parks and things like that is kind of crazy. It's like, I don't understand why I don't know if we're like stupider or in this country, or I don't know. But when I went to Norway, there were some places that I hiked, and I just thought, my God, if this was in the US, like there would be ropes, there would be like chains, there would be like all these different signs telling you not to go here or there. And there it was just like, all right, well, good luck, And it's just another level, I think, of hiking that we're not really used to. Yes, I do mostly solo hike, and I love to solo hike. I haven't really, found someone that is able to keep up with the amount of hiking that I do and how early I go and all of that. So I usually just go by myself. It's a bit easier. And Rob, you are correct. We have a lot more lawyers in this country, and everyone is just really excited to sue people. So that's a really good point that you guys both bring up. And Nevada hiker. Longs is dangerous. People have died there. People die. They have to rescue lots of people in this summer. And one of the things that I pointed out in my video, but maybe I should have added a bit more like aggression about was that you really have to check the weather before you go, because I even had a bunch of people commenting that were like, oh, I went and I got stuck in a storm at 2 p.m. on the summit. And, you know, you can't be on that summit past 12 p.m. Like, you should be down back at least the boulder field by noon. And if not off the entire top half of the mountain by that time, because of lightning, because of storms. You know, in the summertime, and all the Colorado 14ers, even the 12,000 foot mountains, you know, summertime is like, if you go and hike at 6 a.m. and are off the mountain by noon, you're good. But if you start at 10 and you're not off the mountain until 4, you are almost absolutely going to be in some sort of thunderstorm. It's just the way that that area is in Colorado with the Rockies. So I wish I had maybe stressed that a little bit more, because people definitely don't take it seriously enough. I think I always err on the side of caution. I am happy to turn around on a hike if I feel unsafe, or if I feel like I've gotten in over my head, or if I see weather rolling in that I'm not prepared for, or temperatures that I'm not prepared for. And I think too many people in, you know, this country, international parks, are just not willing to do that. So I'm going to continue to just try to inform people in a nice way that they need to really respect, you know, nature and weather, and do their due diligence on researching stuff so that we don't have so many people needing to get rescued in these places. A good drone YouTuber is Jonah Jinton from Sweden. Okay, well, I'm going to write that down and get my little notepad. And I haven't heard of them. So, actually, let's just check it out right now. Why don't we do that? All right, let's go back to internet. Let's see. This is a new person. Oh yeah, okay. I've seen her. I'm gonna subscribe. Let's see if there's like a drone one we can watch really quick. I think I've watched some of her videos. There's a couple other YouTubers out there that are kind of like living off in the wilderness and making videos, which I think is really cool. So definitely we'll check her videos out. If you're wanting to explore Zion, I would definitely recommend, I mean, it depends. I mean, you want to see the whole, if you want to see the whole place, well, so there's two sides of Zion. You've got like main Zion, and then you have Kolob Canyon, which is like a totally separate side of Zion, a separate entrance. I would say, depending on how many hikes you want to go on, at least 3 days. You know, if you want to do the Narrows, that's basically a day. If you want to do Angel's Landing, that's basically a day. You can definitely do kind of all of the scenic overlooks and some of the smaller hikes like Weeping Rock and Emerald Pools and all the other things kind of on the rim road, on the loop road, in a day, and go through the tunnel and then hike up on that on the northern side of the park too. You can do that all in a day. So if you wanted to do that, and then the Narrows, and then Kolob Canyon, and then the Subway, which is another really cool hike where you can go in all these kind of like subterranean little caverns and things. You know, if you want to do all that, 4 or 5 days. But if you want to just kind of see the highlights, you can do it in 3 days. There's some really great places to stay right outside the park too. So I think it just depends on how much you want to see, but I think minimum would be 3 days. I think I did it in 2 on my last trip, but I'll definitely be spending a bit more time there on my next one so I can see a little bit more. And if you do go to Zion, highly recommend when you leave, you go to Bryce Canyon, because it is just right up the road, right north of there. It's super easy to make that part of a trip if you're going to Zion, to add Bryce Canyon. Some really awesome things to do there too. And let me just keep reading your guys' posts here. Suicide Peak in Alaska and Eagle Creek in Oregon. I'm going to write those down, Nevada hiker. Suicide Peak, Alaska, And Eagle Creek in Oregon. You know what? Next summer, I also want to do Mount Rainier. And with that, I want to go back to Oregon. I haven't been in a while. And do Oregon coast and do some of the Oregon hiking. So I'm definitely going to write that one down. They're a bit sketchy. Well, that's good to know. I actually have climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. Dan just asked that. I climbed it back in 2018. If you haven't watched that video, you can check it out on my channel also. I did the Machame route, which is about 7 days. And that was really challenging. The last day, was really hard. And I really honestly wanted to quit because, the altitude just messes with you. For those of you that have hiked Kilimanjaro or any of these other kind of really tall mountains, you're tired and the oxygen is thin and it just messes with you. So you kind of go through all these different emotions. But yeah, I loved hiking Mount Kilimanjaro. I'd love to go back to Tanzania and hike Mount Meru, and love to hike some of the volcanoes that are there as well. So Sonora Peak in California. Yeah. Oh, okay. Nevada hiker. Are those on your Instagram or your Facebook? I'm going to check them out. So he was just saying that he did Sonora Peak in California and has some pictures on how the progression of how fast the weather can change in a couple of hours. Yeah. That's the thing. Sorry guys, so thirsty from my hike still. That's the thing. The weather just changes in a blink of an eye. Even when I was on Long's Peak and I was getting close to my campsite, I saw a big cloud and I was honestly really worried that it was going to turn into rain, and it didn't. It blew over, but I was really concerned, and I kind of had a backup plan of, okay, if that turns into weather, I'm going to turn around and I'm just going to camp anywhere, pitch a tent and figure it out. But obviously, or if you're up on the summit, you don't really have that kind of, contingency plan, because there's nowhere to find shelter, which is the problem with some of these mountains in the Rockies and even in the Eastern Sierras, because it's just rocks and it's a lightning zone and there's nowhere to find shelter. So it's a little bit more difficult. Sorry guys, I've got a little frog in my throat. In Canada, we don't have very many roped or chained or fenced off hiking trails. Well, that's nice. But the road networks don't allow all of the territory to be explored. Yeah, in Canada, you have so much wilderness. It's awesome. And too bad I can't get to Canada right now. But yeah, Canada's beautiful. I did one of my first big World Heritage Adventures videos was actually in Banff. And I loved Banff so much. I did the Via Ferrata there. I did some hikes. I'd love to go back and spend more time there, because pretty much every one of my trips anywhere, I get a day, 2 days, maybe 3 days to explore. So if I have the time to go and actually really embed myself in a place, it's so nice to be able to do a bit more exploring. But would love to get back into Canada too, because I just love, the whole area up there. I'd love to go to White Horse in the Yukon, or in the northern Yukon also, and some of the other areas that I haven't been to. So definitely want to get back into Canada. Yeah, Tim, thanks. You're from Texas. Went to Colorado this last summer for the first time. Learned a lot. Videos might save a life. I hope so. That's the point of my videos, is I really want to not only inspire people to get outdoors, but I want to educate people on how to do it safely and on what they need to know if they're not hiking. This year we've seen so many more people get out and explore the outdoors, which is amazing. And I love seeing people get out and explore the outdoors. But with that, if you're new to it, you may not know all of the kind of rules of the trail, or you might not understand the ecosystem or the weather patterns or things like that. So that's one of the goals of my channel, and one of the things that I always include in my videos is just tips so that we can all be safe and we can all be prepared and we can all respect, nature as much as we can. And I'm glad that some of you guys say that Utah is on your bucket list. The monolith, yes, David. that monolith in Utah. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on this. It's kind of funny that people took it down. I don't know if it's funny, but leave no trace. People took it down and said, leave no trace, leave no trace. And I think were chanting it as they tore the thing down. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, there was a monolith discovered in the Utah desert. It was then taken down. Then they found another one, I think in, was it Slovenia or somewhere? Or that's not right, somewhere over there, Eastern Europe. And then another one somewhere else, which is so interesting. But I think it's all a hoax. Or it's aliens. I don't know. Geez. Have I thought about paddling the Okefenokee in Georgia? No, but that's a really good suggestion. I don't do much paddling trips. I'm writing this down in my little notes, so thank you for suggesting it. I love to paddleboard, and I've honestly, there's, what's their YouTube channel? I think maybe it's adventure amateurs or something. I'll have to look it up, but there's 3 guys and they do a lot of like hikes and paddle trips. And they were in the Tetons this summer. They did some like paddle boarding and hiking. I'd love to do some stuff like that. I don't have a boat, so that is a little bit more challenging for me, just the logistics, crafty girl, but I appreciate you suggesting that because it's a really great suggestion. And now that a couple of you have been talking about South Suicide Peak, I'm going to have to definitely check it out. Okay, yeah, and Nevada Hiker, if any of you guys want to see these pictures, they're on Nevada Hiker's Facebook page. So if you guys want to check those out, I'm going to check those out afterwards, just to show you guys how fast weather can roll in. And yeah, Alpine huts in Canadian Rockies. I didn't do any of those. I haven't stayed in Alpine huts since I was a kid. But yeah, those are a great place to stay, especially if you're through hiking anywhere. And it's a great place to take shelter. On Longs Peak, there is a little hut there that was actually built in remembrance of a man that actually died trying to do a winter ascent of Longs Peak. And his name I can't think of right now, but that's why that's there. If you guys watch that video or have seen some of my pictures on Instagram or my website, you'll know what I'm talking about. But there was a little hut just built at the top of the keyhole that would be a little shelter for people hiking. And I think doing a winter ascent of Longs Peak would be totally nuts, but people do it. And thank you, Dave. Yeah, that other monolith was in Romania. Sean just asked, what's the story of the Utah monolith? Well, I don't know much about it. I mean, I don't think anyone really knows much about it. It was a metal structure stuck in the middle of the desert. Someone flying, I think, in a helicopter or some sort of little plane actually spotted it. They were out doing surveying or something, and they landed. So it was a helicopter, I guess. That wouldn't make sense for it to be a plane. And they landed their helicopter, went and looked at this thing, and were like, well, that's weird. There was nothing here a few days ago. Called the news. And then some actual hikers, 4 or 5 days later, I think, hiked out to where they figured out where the location was. They hiked out to it, actually just knocked the thing over, tore it down, carried it out. And their reasoning behind it was that they didn't want to have people coming in hordes to this remote area of the desert and wrecking the desert. So they took it down. Then a second one popped up in Romania, and then a third one popped up somewhere else. Maybe one of you guys remembers where that one was as well. But they've all in California, actually. There was a third one, and they've all just been subsequently torn down pretty quickly. So nobody really knows how they got there. People have suggested that it's like artists or sculpture makers. People have suggested it's aliens. So I guess your guess is as good as mine on that. Yeah, I definitely put them up, you guys. Sorry. I also have my helicopter's pilot license and a helicopter just in the parking lot. So, and metal workshop in the basement. So I've been really busy. Oh, yeah, mediocre amateurs. Thank you, Rob. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, when I was talking about the Tetons, mediocre amateurs, those guys are awesome. I'd love to also team up with them at some point. So, mediocre amateurs, if you end up watching this video, I would love to collab with you and go on one of your crazy adventures. Yeah, if you haven't watched those guys, they're insane. They're like the fittest people I've ever seen, and they like will bike 50 miles, then hike some 13,000-foot mountain, and then, you know, cycle back in the dark, like passing bears and things. So they're pretty awesome, and I'd love to be on one of their adventures as well. Okay. So David Regis said that the thing had been there for years, actually, according to old satellite photos. Well, that's really funny. Okay, well, now I'm going to look more into that because that's really interesting. But yeah, if you guys end up looking up more information, feel free to send it to me in a DM too. Do I have any plans for trekking in the Himalayas? I do. I was actually last year, there was a lot of trips last year that I didn't get to go on. One of them was to Nepal, and work got in the way. I ended up taking a stunt coordinating job and could not go on that trip to Nepal, but I definitely want to go to Nepal. I feel like Nepal, I may never leave if I go. I think I would just love hiking there. And I do want to do, you know, some of the hikes around Everest Base Camp. I know that they've been cleaning up Everest Base Camp and Everest, but it's kind of like a wasteland of garbage, or it has been for the last couple of years. I think there's some things, I have some qualms about, I guess, the pollution and things like that, but I definitely do want to go to Nepal, and I do want to hike in the Himalayas, so definitely on my list. Do I believe in Sasquatch? Absolutely. Okay, so there's a book. Oh gosh, what is the name of it? Oh my gosh. It's called, oh no, I can't remember. Okay, well, it's about a Border Patrol agent, and it's like his real stories about being a Border Patrol agent on the border of Mexico and the United States. And basically there's all these stories of like ghosts and just like really weird stuff that happened. But one of the stories is about Sasquatch, because he believed, from seeing all these things that he saw over the years, that Sasquatch actually lived in like a third plane, and it was able to appear in our plane and go back to its plane seamlessly, which would make sense if you guys have ever watched Missing 411, which is another great YouTube channel with some really cool like national park disappearances and stuff like that I highly recommend if you're into that kind of stuff. It totally makes sense. So basically his thought was that Sasquatch or Bigfoot, whatever, could come into our realm, sometimes be seen by people or animals, and then basically just swoop back over to the other one. So he had this thing that happened to him where he was like chasing some people through the desert that were illegal immigrants being brought over by coyotes, and they were kind of in this like chase, and they got to a river. There was coyotes, and the guy went into the river, and then the coyotes got scared of something, and he thought that he was chasing a person this whole time, but he actually thinks he was chasing Sasquatch. Anyways, if I remember the name of that book, I will share it on my Instagram stories when I do, so you guys can check it out, because it was a really good book, and I definitely, I definitely like sort of believe in Sasquatch. So I've never like seen any sort of sightings of Sasquatch, but I'm sure there'll be a day when I do. And Missing 411, there's all these disappearances where, two people will be together, and all of a sudden, and they'll be like, yeah, okay, look over the shoulder, the guy's there, and then all of a sudden look over the shoulder, the guy's gone, and there's no trace of him. And then, a backpack or a shoe is found like up a mountainside, and then in the cases where these people have actually then been found, they were like, I was there the whole time. And it was like they were in some other alternate universe. So I don't know what that is. But yeah, I'm totally into all that kind of like witchy woo-woo weird stuff too. The plural of Sasquatch. Sasquatches? I mean, right? I don't know. Maybe the Loch Ness Monster is just a ghost dinosaur. Sure. Yeah. Right? If there's I mean, the thing is, if there's an alternate plane of existence, there could be all kinds of weird stuff that we can see at one moment and then never again. So I don't know. There's a YouTuber who does camping videos that said the same thing, and he saw the back of the creature running away from him. See, these are the kind of things that, like, now I have, like, the heebie-jeebies. Today when I was hiking, I actually, you know, my boyfriend was like, well, make sure you look up some, like, you know, weird facts about the Appalachian Trail. So I was like, okay, cool. I will. And so one of the facts is that, like, 11 people have been murdered on the Appalachian Trail. And the weird thing is that lots of people have died on the Appalachian Trail from, like, natural causes and whatever, but I couldn't even find the numbers. But then as soon as I started thinking about all the people that had been murdered, I was just like, my skin is crawling. So I don't know if you guys get like that, but I don't think I could ever, like, hike and tell ghost stories by myself, because that kind of stuff really freaks me out. Yeah, well, maybe another show, guys. I might have to start another channel for weird mysteries in the wilderness. Actually, if you guys watched, this was a Travel Channel show. I interviewed Kinga Phillips a while back, earlier in the year, for a show that she did on Travel Channel, but they do a lot of these kind of, like, mysterious disappearances. It was really good, so check that out if you haven't seen it. Oh yeah, the creature threw large boulders at him in foggy conditions. Seen some really amazing petrified trees, huge, mega big, and other surprising stuff of that nature in Alaska. That's really cool. You know where else has some really cool petrified trees is actually the state park north of Las Vegas, which I can't think of the name of right now. But there's some really cool petrified trees there. But that sounds really cool, Dave. Thanks for sharing that. I don't even know how long we've been on. You know, we've been chatting for an hour, guys. This is crazy. And I've only had 2 sips of wine, which is just tragic. But I am so thankful for all of you guys to be here. And this has been a really fun conversation. I am going to jump off because I have to get up at 5 to go to work tomorrow. It's not that late here, but I do want to make some dinner and things. But I do want to just thank all of you guys for joining, for being here. And I am going to be here every Sunday. We're going to do this every Sunday, this live chat, you know, different topics. But you know, this was kind of a celebration, a little bit of a party, and you guys were so awesome. Oh my gosh, yeah, now we're talking about missing 411. I think maybe we should do a live chat about some of the missing 411, and we can all kind of come and yeah, just one more hour. You know, we can all share our stories, because I think that might be really fun. So if you guys want to do that, let me know in the comments too. Forrest asked me, what do I do for a living? Oh, well, for those of you guys that don't know or that are new to the channel, I actually work as a stunt woman. That is my day job. I am working right now on Spider-Man. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, so oh well, if I'm not. But yeah, so I'm working on that, and I work as a stunt woman and a stunt rigger. I'm one of the only stunt riggers that's a female in the stunt industry. Basically, a stunt rigger is someone that helps the stunt performer actually do the flying and things like that. We're the ones that design where the wires go and how to lift and manipulate people and fly them through the air and things like that and make that happen. So that's what I do for a living. And obviously I'm here on YouTube and have my travel business as well. So anyways, a couple more things. Awesome. Dan Richardson, he just said he did his first snow hike this morning. Also 28 degrees, Desolation Wilderness. Awesome. You know, so many of you guys have been talking about Desolation Wilderness lately. It makes me want to really get out there. And you're welcome. You guys inspire me just as much as I inspire you. So thank you guys all so much for being here. And if you haven't, connected with me on Instagram or on my website, Alice's Adventures on Earth, check that out. I do like a monthly newsletter where I share, articles and some of my like discount codes also for outdoor gear that I get through some of the companies and brands that sponsor. So if you haven't checked out my website, check that out also. And I've also got like a 12-week training guide for getting in shape for hiking if you need to get in shape. So I'm excited for all the new people that are here. And this has been the liveliest chat we've had in a long time. So thank you guys so much for joining. And like I said earlier, if there are days of the weeks or times, if this is a good time for live chats, let me know. I'm going to try to do these a bit more often. And if there's specific things that you guys want to talk about, I think next week we'll probably do a winter hiking Q&A and gear guide and tips that's live. So if you've got questions about anything winter hiking related, drop me a comment here on YouTube or on my Instagram. And I've got a new video coming out next week too from today's hike, and a couple other things on the nature news front with electric trucks. A video coming out on that in the next couple of weeks too. So I will see you guys soon. Thank you guys so much for spending this last hour of your wonderful Sunday evening with me. And I will see all of you guys soon. So cheers. Thank you again for helping me get to 8,000 subscribers. And let's get to 10,000. So if you can share my channel with a friend or a coworker or on Twitter or Facebook, I would really appreciate you for doing that. And I will see you guys soon.